Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're listening to my voice, then it means everything's working, which this time of I don't know, it's kind of comes and go with the technology. But welcome everybody. We thank you for being here and tuning in and being a part of this fabulous journey. You know who I am, and this is, you know, who Miss Trina and Jenny. And as you can see, we are joined by Grandpa Brian. We tried to get him on last week, but there was technical issues, but we got him worked out. So he's actually there. So I'll speak on behalf of everybody on this end. We just speak favor over all you favored beings. As we like to say, you call those things that be not as though they are. So we speak nothing missing, nothing broken. And if the other side actually has a place that exists like that, then baby, we already got the ticket. So welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone in the chat room. Your participation in making the chat room a place where people come and enjoy themselves. It really helps. It helps with the channel and it helps with the algorithm. So, hey, we all want to be in line with the algorithm. So this is a second look, and we got a guest, and so I'm going to quit talking for the moment. But I'll start with you, Miss Trina. How are you doing, dear? You're looking fabulous. You and Jenny are, and Grandpa Byron, you look fabulous yourself.
Well, thank you.
Look fabulous, baby, fabulous. Who was that? That
Yeah,
was
I'm
Billy
good.
Crystal, wasn't it, on Saturday Night Live? You look fabulous. Anyway.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Yeah, just watching this wacky world we live in. It has been quite a ride, but everything's going so far so smooth. So we'll see.
Yeah, and we did give a word out to the folks in the South. I realize many of you down there are not used to seeing. I mean, come on, a blizzard warning in New Orleans. I
It's crazy.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, and I happen to believe I don't think this is going to be a once in a lifetime thing. I think this may be something we'll see more and more of. But anyway, as I heard just before we went live, so 100 miles off the coast of New Orleans, it's snowing out in the Gulf of Mexico, oh, which will now be the Gulf of America. So
Wow.
wacky.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's crazy train.
And it's cold out there. It's 3 degrees here. Just finally got above. We were -6 this morning, so damn cold.
That's brutal.
And the folks, Grandpa Brian, how cold was it in your neck of the woods? I know you guys were down in the minus teens, as I saw on the map.
Yeah, we were at minus, I think, 6 or 7 this morning. Wind chill was like 20 below. I think our high today is only like 6 degrees.
Yeah. Well, that's wintertime.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, we've gotten so used to this, you know, when the magnetic poles begin to really make their migration, you know, October and November and half of December here was beautiful. It was mild up in the low 60s. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And then something happened. Speaking of which, how are you doing over there on the other side of the pond, Miss Jenny? Good to see you. And you just got that light about you, girl. Both of you, Trina and
Yeah.
Jenny. I mean, they're not here to see
This is,
me. Maybe they're here to
I'm
see.
hearing it. So I'm the same as Trina. I could literally swap places with Trina physically and telepathically, and we would be looking at the same show. It's the weather is doing what it's doing. Um, on that, we had a really mild winter. But then again, Mum said my birthday was always hot, the end of May. The last 10 years, it's progressively gotten that the summers come in later. And so the cycle's naturally changing as well as everything else on top of that. But naturally, it has been pushing so that our summer's been coming later and the winter's been coming in later. So we've had a milder, longer autumn, it seems. But we've been -6. We got to -12 one day
Is
since
that
last week.
Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Degrees
Celsius.
Celsius. Yeah,
Celsius.
yeah,
Okay.
degrees
So minus
Celsius.
six would be, would it be? Is that 18, 19 degrees? Is that right? Fahrenheit.
I
Oh, God.
every time you do that, Wayne,
Well,
because
come on,
I
you math geniuses. I mean, help me out here. I
give me some
think,
I
alchemy.
don't know.
Don't give me.
isn't
I
every
don't know.
Celsius
It's
like
cold.
2 to 3 degrees?
That's what I was thinking around. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone in the
That's,
chat room will bring it out. Yeah.
yeah, they
Oh,
will.
Mum,
It'll, I have to look in for it.
this frost was reminding her of the 80s in this country. A cycle in the 80s through to the 90s that we had of a really deep freeze and then a really deep winter with very, very deep record levels of snow. And it seemed to go on forever, but it came in later in the year. And I think that's what we're going towards now.
Well, Charles Dickens in his writing, Great Expectations, Tale of Two Cities, he talks about London with the Thames River freezing, that
Yes.
people were used the river to cross over to the other side that they needed to get to.
Mhm.
Yeah, skating on it and stuff. So we do have these extreme cycles where there's blocks of cycles that we do go through that even like you said, just in our history that we know of, we can plot and see that we do come round in these cycles. But I think like the spiral with everything else, going up and down, of course it does. These winters expand and then they contract, and the summer expands and it contracts. And I think if we could go with that naturally without all of the other artificial interference on top of that, uh, people would be far more prepared, far more connected to the cycles and ready for them. It wouldn't be a panic station thing. But there's a lot of interference just of how we sort of perceive these cycles changing, expanding, and contracting too. There's a lot of fear over that over here. Well, fear mongering.
You know where I was at, Jenny, when you were talking? I was reading Dickens again. In junior high in theater, I played Pip, the
Oh,
character
yeah.
in Great Expectations, and so anyway, that's where I
Mhm.
was at because it's crazy out there. You're absolutely right, and things just like everything else. I mean, we'll get into this later. I wanted to bring Grandpa Brian into the conversation. How are you doing, sir? Good to have you on. It is just an honor and a pleasure. So, what's up, buddy?
Oh, it's an honor to be here. Just trying to stay warm. They didn't even, they told us not even to come in today because it was so cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, just trying to stay warm. The good thing is this weekend I'll be doing some ice fishing.
Cool
Mhm.
deal.
Mhm.
That is cool. The
Mhm.
coldest I've ever been, went to a playoff game with the then St. Louis Cardinals with the Washington Redskins. And sitting in that stadium, it was like, 0 degrees outside and the wind was, God damn, it was cold. Anyway.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
St. Louis ended up losing anyway. So
Mhm.
go figure.
Mhm.
Well, everybody, I'm glad and how fortuitous that I think a excellent representation of perspectives. Um, Yesterday, I contend, and in fact, you don't have to contend anymore. You can see it. We we either jumped timelines or the time stream shifted greatly. And with my background, I guess if you were to label me politically, would be more physical conservative. I don't believe the government has any business in our business. The Constitution was very plain about how much federalism would be allowed, but be that as though it may. And the the effect, and it is an effect, it's reverberating through our government, it's reverberating through many other governments in the world. And that is an affirmation, in my opinion, that there has been a time shift. What say y'all? Did you may not be political, but you can't ignore the events that took place yesterday because, again, this is a change in course of policy, government, regardless if this
Yeah.
government that we vote for is just theatrics, that the real government we never see. But anyway, What say
Yeah,
y'all?
I think yeah, timeline jump. I think we've always done it, but now we're kind of more aware of it. But
Boy,
yeah, I
aren't
think
we?
this was a big one, I think. Yeah.
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 And so
Lots of
much
things to be
symbolism
thinking.
yesterday. Did y'all see Don Jr. and what he did? In
No,
fact, he had to have one of the Trump families go up to him and say, "Stop it now." But he gave the Illuminati sign and really just continued with it. And finally, one of the family members came in there, and you could see that she said, "Stop
knock
that
it off.
and
Right.
knock it off." You've already given them the sign that we're either complying or cooperating with whoever the hell the Illuminati are.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Interesting.
Like,
No, I'm going, what the fuck does that
Interesting.
mean?
It means it's part of families. Yeah.
I mean, I was talking about, Trump wore a purple tie, and that was like
Mm.
completely opposite of what he's ever done. And so it signifies something, but I
You
keep
know what that
saying,
signifies to me, Wayne?
what's that, hon?
Saint Germain, violet fire, crown chakra, transmutation. This is transmutation. This is massive change, massive change.
So when
That's the
I think of
color
Trump
for
now, you know who I think of?
transmutation.
I think of
Wizard?
Kurt Russell in Tombstone. And you can't
Ah,
tell me that hat that Melania, by the way, that woman could
right?
wear a
Oh,
knapsack
she's
and still
so
make it look
pretty.
good. But
Yeah,
Hmm.
that
she's so
hat,
pretty.
the one shot that they showed when he was taking the oath, that look, I mean, she had the look of an executioner. Like,
Right?
you're not going to see my whole face. There was a cult meaning all across that.
V for Vendetta.
Hmm.
Yes, thank you.
yeah, yeah. I think Trina's right. It was a big time jump, but for me, it felt again very staged in that it was very magically done in that, we go through natural time jumps, I think, like Trina says, and you can feel those along the way with planetary alignments and whatnot. But there's been a refining of the art of jumping timelines at will by employing certain magics and alchemy and everything that you've just described, everything that I have seen. For
And we are in
me,
a planetary alignment right now.
yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
know what's
the
amazing?
timing perfect. They've looked at all of the elements and written a wonderful magical script to
Yeah.
whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or have hope in it or not, they did well regarding for me. They really looked at the windows that were coming, the planetary alignments, the alignments with the poles, the time of the year that we're in, the date itself, everything was pulled in and utilized like an executioner style perfection, really, like you said. So for me, it was a huge time jump, but really accelerated by um, magical powers behind it, if that makes sense, because I feel
Oh,
it really
there's
rallied
wizards
it.
and witches and all sorts of shit going on.
And they used it
Oh,
well.
it's neat.
Used it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, um, so yesterday, and I was watching it because this was history, and I didn't want to miss this because I mean, you can say on their end that they're saying that they're the hand of God. All right, that's cool. But from my perspective, I see it a little bit differently. You know, that whether it's the hand of God or not, there are laws and there are contracts that have to be complied with. And so when they had Baron on there, um, wow. And I told my wife, I said, there's a light on that kid.
Yes.
No more than 3 minutes later, the commentator on Fox News said the exact same thing in the exact same words.
Hmm.
It was Jesse Walters said that there's a light on him. So anyway,
Hmm.
so Grandpa
You know,
Brian, give us your perspective, dear. What's that, hon?
do you know his name, Baron? What that
Baron.
means?
Well, there's supposedly what I've heard this
It
before,
means
but
Lord.
Lord,
Lord.
the
Yes, it sure does. Yeah. Yeah, I've always
tall
thought
kid.
that of like Osiris, you know, Isis and Thoth. That would be the what I see for the Trumps. It's like there's some kind of a trinity, beautiful, powerful trinity that I see with those three. Yeah.
He's got the light on him. So,
Hmm.
Grandpa Brian, give us your perspective, sir.
I do believe we made a major timeline shift, but it is yet to determine what this shift is all
Oh,
about.
I agree.
Whether
I
it's going to be
agree.
good or if it's not going to be good for us. So only time will tell. Who knows? We might make another shift within a couple weeks. Uh, I do love.
It's we're in 2025, and you know, I say we have to be. Um, it's like the midget that walked into the men's room. You've got to keep on your toes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
It's going
see?
to be
Well,
a
I mean,
rough
for the
road this
ladies, you
year.
have to, just add your own visuals to it. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Grandpa Brian. It's for me, I don't like the direction it's going in. I think we're seeing corporate allowing itself to be seen. I feel like it's an unveiling right now of um, what's been behind governments for a long time in the West, in the Western cultures anyway, is showing its face. And I felt that happened yesterday here and where you guys are, in that what's been where we think democracy's been fueling governments and fueling decisions. Well, some people have been thinking that, but for a long time there's been a backhand takeover. I felt like it was a ta-da, we're here, a real unveiling of a taking off of a mask. Of a new structure that's taking hold, very different structure. And it wasn't just where you guys are, it was exactly the same here. There was certain speeches made, like you say, certain nods to ritual yesterday by some powerful people, deals made. We made a big deal with Ukraine, and our Prime Minister didn't tell us any of it. There was no vote on it or anything. He just flew over there and made 100-year deal with them. There was that was a real unveiling of, I don't need your permission anymore, people. It was so I think that was on both sides, and that
well, if the
some
United
people
States gets sneezes, the UK gets the cold. It's
100%
just what it is.
Mhm.
man flu
And
when we get over here.
Nina
We
made a
just
good point that, and I saw that as well, Nina, when it was going on, and even Chief Justice Roberts. So I don't know if you didn't see the inauguration and the swearing in. So Melania brings up these two Bibles, right? And typically you will see the person hold up their right hand, and then with their left hand, they would put on the Bible. Trump didn't do that.
What he did.
Melania had the two Bibles there, but his hand was not on the Bibles that typically what is the taking of the oath.
that's a very different part of the ritual then.
I mean,
Well,
and even Judge Roberts actually messed up the whole oath that you're supposed to take. So I'm watching this, and it's like, wow, okay. I mean, nothing to see here. Move right along.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I take this stuff really seriously. I mean, again, with the hand signals,
Hmm.
you know, the choice of attire. I mean, it does have that V for Vendetta look. I mean, if there's
Does.
any one person that really has an axe to grind, it would be her.
Hmm.
And I just got a sense that she is the epitome of grace.
Hmm.
Melania. I mean, again, the woman could wear a burlap bag and make it look good. Um, but from her origins, they come with a knowledge and understanding. And I just got a sense you get on her shit list, that is not a good place to be at.
No, I wouldn't imagine it to be. I
Mm-mm.
wouldn't. I would,
No,
Mm-mm.
and I got a lot of comments on the fact that, the idea that demigods live among us. I don't believe they ever left. And
Yeah,
I
me either.
believe someone wrote me and said, was writing the validation of that very same idea. It's not just myself. It's apparently there's a lot out there that they are here, always have been,
Mm-hmm.
guiding
I
us.
think
They
so.
they they typically show up as leaders. They
Yeah.
head corporations. They make the highest positions in churches and religion. These are the demigods. And I contend that we're seeing a modern day one right before our eyes, and I contend that it's Trump.
So
I think they're all potentials because it's in family lines apparently is the
Yeah, but he's got the seat of power right now. I mean, and
yeah,
he's consolidating that power.
yes, he does.
It's just
Hmm.
so I'm
Yeah.
wondering if that the swearing in was actually uh, all these years they've been pledging allegiance to the New World Order, and he didn't want to do that this time. That he wasn't going to pledge his
yeah.
allegiance to the New World Order. So, and I think it could be,
I
and that's
mean,
what the change is going to be.
you know, eh, yeah,
Did
I
he
mean,
did he do it on his Bible, the one he made?
he had two. He had one that he had taken the original oath on, and then there was another Bible. I think it was a family Bible.
Because
But
Trump created a Bible.
I don't know about that. I mean, I
Yeah,
just
he did. It's
it's
no, he really did, and it's got a couple different things in it which normal Bibles don't. One is the Constitution, and also the Bill of Rights.
it's called the Founder's Bible. I have one over here on my bookshelves.
Yeah, so I
But the
didn't
fact
know,
that he
but
didn't even put his hand on it, and that's typically what you do when you're swearing an
Mhm.
oath and an allegiance.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think by him not doing that, he didn't swear his allegiance to the New World Order.
And he basically, and excuse the term, was just given the I don't know, call it the establishment, call it whatever it is, but they were all sitting there, the former presidents, Biden and Harris, and he was just giving them a good old fashioned ass whooping. I mean, he basically called him everything but a white man. I mean, and I'm watching this and I'm going, wow, okay. I mean, and they had to take it. They had to take it. And I'm going, there's some deep magic going on. There's some spells being broken and there's some spells being cast. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
it feels accurate.
And why I say the demigod, here's my piece of evidence. When a mortal will stand before other mortals and declare that he faced death and that his result was by divine intervention of an unseen being.
Mhm.
And when that individual says, and that is the reason why I've been saved, I am here as the new Messiah. I'm here to make America. And this is what I'm hearing him say. That is a proclamation of a demigod.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but I have a sense that if we were to transport the four of us, were to transport back in, let's say, the year 359 BC, right? And we're in modern day Athens,
Mhm.
that we would have that understanding, and that's how you differentiate a demigod from a mortal. Now,
Yeah.
whether you believe that the assassination attempt, whatever it is, we know this if you just go by the what we see, is the fact that, all right, so he's made this proclamation that his life has been spared, and saved for this specific purpose in this specific time. That's a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
show me
Well, you
another,
know,
show me another modern day politician that's ever said that.
a lot of them probably have never said it, but a lot of them might have thought it
Yeah,
because,
but
Yeah.
it's different between thinking and speaking.
yeah, but like I said, a lot of them maybe didn't live to speak about it. So there's
What do you
that
mean?
too. Well, a
Um,
lot of them were assassinated. They had never had a chance to say anything after they were assassinated. But I think it's like these characters that we have in our world, I think many of them know the role they're playing when they come here. And I've always thought that about that triad. I'm like, these three, I knew 15 years ago something about that three is going to be important in our world. And wow, it sure is manifesting.
well, as a practicing occultist, I can tell you he did the same invocation that is on many of the spells and rituals that I may or may not have actually ever performed. And
Yeah.
words are a big deal. I mean, I guess because of my Bible training in the background, is that when a prophet speaks before as the mouthpiece of God, the people are to listen. I mean, and so as an occultist, as I look at it today, there was some heavy stuff taking place, and that's a shift in time. It's a shift in, as Brian, as you just pointed out, no one knows, is this good or is this bad? It's basically not been seen before.
Correct.
Hey, that's all. I mean, that's all I'm saying is that we've never seen anything like this. And if you go back 2,500 years ago, hell, go back 1,000 years ago, this is the kind of stuff that, you would, as the common folk would say, the gods are active. This is not normal.
No, and I think you're so right, spot on I mean, never before have you ever seen a presidential candidate go to inauguration with a purple tie. You're right with that's a big deal, Wayne.
It's
That's a
it's
big deal.
huge occultism.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
this is huge transformation. It's not red or blue anymore. See, this is the message. It's not red, it's
It's
not
not
blue,
red, it's
it's
not
purple.
blue.
Yeah, it's purple, which
Why
is
did I
also
feel
too the
like
color of
Neo
royalty.
with, uh-huh?
It's also the color that symbolizes royalty.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I feel like Morpheus is right before us, and and we're Neo, and he's saying, all right, so which one are you going to take, the red or the blue? And we're saying, fuck that, we're going to take the purple.
Yeah, I would take one of each. It's red and blue make purple.
So now we got purple, and it's like,
Yeah.
geez.
And that's the blending of red and blue, Wayne. Think about it. That's red and blue makes purple.
Yeah, I know it. And
Yeah.
it's very interesting. And
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
noticing the background as well. So there was Trump was on the left, right? And the outgoing people and the former presidents were over on his right. And if you look at the color and tone, they were in funeral attire.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and this shit is, you can't make this up. And and I'm going, wow. I mean, I can't, it wasn't just me, because I've seen people write and making similar comments, and this is amazing. I mean, never in my time have I ever seen that. And I remember when Kennedy was assassinated. I remember when Martin Luther was assassinated. I mean, I lived those events, but I've never seen anything. I remember when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated live on television. I mean, nothing like this has ever happened before. And when you study, if you just study the occult on its face, it was all over the place there. And I'll stop talking here because it's the three of y'all need to say something.
I wonder if it always has been, but we just didn't have the eyes to see it. We
Oh
didn't
no.
know. We didn't know because these these symbols, these handshakes, all these stuff, they go back a long time. So obviously it's been there, but we just did not have the eyes to see. So,
Well, to add to that mystery, so Barron Trump, the, Melania and Donald's son,
mhm,
did you see what he did when at the closing of the ceremonies? He gets up
mhm,
and he walks over to Biden and Harris and he extends his hand to both of them.
mhm.
Now, when I watched that, I told my wife, I said, why do I get the feeling of the fucking omen here? I mean, why am I thinking that Barron Trump has this resemblance to Damien?
Oh shit.
And he's got because he's the heir, he's the inherent heir of all this. And he
Mm,
goes over to the opposition that tried to kill his father and violate his mother. And he goes over and shakes both their hand. And I mean, the hair on the back of my neck just raises up, and I'm just saying, you see, there's something here. You could see it was extreme grace, or
Well,
maybe not.
it's like the Sopranos kiss on the forehead, isn't it?
yeah.
That, you know,
Yes.
Yeah, kiss the
you
ring,
get a loving you get a loving kiss on the right in the third eye from the
Yeah.
leader of the group, and that's actually the death sentence. You know that it's the kiss of death, quite literally. So that it was a bit. It was a very strong, intimidating, graceful snub. Again, just an observation of the actions. It was a very graceful kiss on the forehead. I can't be accused of anything, but everybody knows what I'm saying to you with this very tight handshake, you know. So you're right that it was all there. And I think they know the game. These people are trained generationally to know the game, to know the spells, to know the alchemy. I think Trina's right. It has always been there, certainly in this country, down to what ties they wear, what color suit the queen would wear, you know, all of these
Mhm.
different things that they would pull in to the point over here of ridiculousness. It's all of pomp and circumstance, you know, when they roll anything out like that. But I do feel we saw a very, just like that handshake, the timeline yesterday was a very stealthy, strong, graceful to the naked eye on the television buyout of an old system. You know, when big business sees a big business going under because they just haven't been maybe on time, being innovative enough to keep up to date with the factory floor workings, and somebody who's got some profit waits till it dips right down. This old system was crumbling, it was coming to a halt. It's the perfect time, and I really do see that we saw in front of our eyes for the first time more than ever one of the biggest buyouts of an old system coming into a new, which involves a lot of alchemy, magic, and handshakes
Well,
also.
I contend that the opposition, in fact, most people in Congress are not that intelligent. They're really not. It's the upper echelon that have the so-called power reins, and that who was in attendance. I
Yeah.
contend maybe to the conversation is that maybe there's a new magic in town.
I
I
think
mean,
there
the
is.
Trumps don't operate like normal people. There's a whole different culture. And
Mhm.
Donald was, in his business dealings, you can't tell me that he did not come across the occult. I would,
No,
yeah. I
no,
mean,
not possible.
so this proclamation that he made to the world, and folks, and you have a different opinion, it's fine. I'm just giving you what I was seeing in my spirit that while I was watching this, that I saw this mortal now become this hybrid between immortality and mortality, and makes a declaration that again his life was spared by this divine intervention. I mean,
Mhm.
folks, you go tell me in history any other person who's ever made that proclamation. Bingo. I
Um,
mean, we saw something that doesn't and he is the representation of the number one power in the world still. I'm just blown away. I'm just going, I can't be the only one seeing this. This is not normal.
Wouldn't that be wonderful symbolically if that was the proof that we couldn't be taken down to as a country, that America will.
But it's still making the proclamation that he has a divine hand upon him in his actions and his life. And that now that he says that his life was spared to bring America back to this place again. And I'm going, holy fuck. I can't be hearing this. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but again, you get this whole thing. So, Grandpa Brian, I'm going to take it to you in your comment. So, I'm going to take the nefarious route. That what we just saw was the omen being played out in a certain set.
Yeah. Well, go back to the timeline shifts. The very first timeline shift was the assassination attempt.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
The second one was election day. And then, boom, now we have the inauguration day. So there it is, the three.
I actually did a video on that the day after the attempt and said that time had been stopped. I mean, so it can't be just me. If you and Brian, you bring up, and that's the point. You start connecting these dots, and you're going, Trina, Jenny, Brian, Lindsay, everyone, Chloe in the chat room, all of us. We've just been subjected to something that, and apparently we're now into something that I contend. I went back. I was up till about 12:30 last night, and I'm trying to research this where any world leader has made that proclamation that they were attempted to be assassinated and their lives were divinely spared, and then they had this mission. And I'm going, I don't know, maybe someone in the Rome time. But I can't find anyone in the modern age who's ever done that. And
none of the Bible either.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, maybe David.
Okay, I'm like, I wonder if the Bible was you because I kept saying no. There's a correlation. I didn't know because you know the Bible way better than me. But I was like, I didn't know. But yeah, I kept thinking no, there is one, and you might be right. It might be David.
Yeah. And David was the precursor to the Messiah.
Yes.
The Divinical line.
Yes.
You know, if you look at the whole genealogy, it's listed in the book of Matthew. The Divinical covenant was a change in direction of what Yahweh or El Shaddai or the Elohim, that they changed the contract in, as I understand it. You had the Adamic contract, you had the Abrahamic contract, you had the Jacob contract, then you had the Divinical contract, then you had the Solomon contract, and then we get into the Christ, which would be the sixth.
Interesting.
And if this guy is making this proclamation that he's a part of this God, I'm going, okay. So is he or is he not?
What if he's both? Because duality.
There you
and
go.
The timelines. One timeline has to express the bad.
Wouldn't that be Lucifer?
It's the power of duality. Because Wayne, I swear I've seen that before, that both are going to exist. Both outcomes on some level will exist. So I keep projecting, I came here to see him turn into the good person, you know, the one that's going to really help the country, and that's going to spread throughout the world, and it's going to bring more balance and heal the planet instead of destroy it. But yeah, we have to go through a change phase first. You know what I mean? There has to be some kind of breaking down before you can create a new system. And I know that a transformation appears to be coming one way or another. There's nothing anybody can do about this, because I think it has to do with bigger things than just Earth.
Well,
So,
look how I talk a lot about AI here because it's here. But
yeah.
look at who was in attendance yesterday.
Hmm.
I mean, this almost gave me the feeling of almost a coronation. I mean, you had the world billionaires there,
Hmm.
esteemed people of the world, and the highest positions were in attendance yesterday. You had foreign dignitaries in attendance. I mean, this is what I'm trying to express everyone today. This is a bigger fucking deal than what you're even thinking.
It's got to be a huge deal. This is the transition into the new age. This is a huge, and he keeps saying the golden age. So
Well,
you're
either we're
looking at
seeing a representing of the second return of Christ, or we're seeing the advent of the Antichrist taking its full position.
bingo. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Both will exist, but on different timelines. So you will go with what you see with your optic nerve, because your optic creates your reality in the material realm. So this is what I'm seeing, Wayne. That's exactly what I'm seeing. Two potentials, both existing because of the process of duality of this realm. So bingo, that's what I'm
Who's the
seeing.
master? That's
I
what I'm.
know, right? Creator, maybe. Who knows? Because
And
there's
you
something
got the
bigger than,
blending, you got the
yeah,
purple. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Oh
but I've
gosh.
got to tell you, in my spirit, and I I have that gift, and I'm telling you, I just got this. I get this feeling in the back going, all right, this really looks good on the surface. I mean, the words are nice, the idea is nice. Hey, the actions are kind of nice, but maybe we didn't understand or could read the menu.
Right, and
We
me,
thought they were feeding us. It turns out we're feeding them.
yes, yes, because the optic is the operating process to what I see. See, so it controls the whole system. Your input creates in the system as a collective. So none of us are the center of it. We are bound immortally, eternally to it as a part of it. So with that, yeah, when that's why they're trying to control what we see. So this is our best thing, is we gotta put our own input of what we want to see into the structure, because this is how this appears to be working. Quantum's just, saying yes.
And within that vein, to me, you could take one particular perspective. It's like there was also this declaration of war
Hmm. I
by
feel
the
that.
ologies. You know,
Yeah.
he said that
Mhm.
they're going to bring back religion, and I'm going, okay, so what does that mean?
And whose religion?
That's the second part of that, but it's like,
Yeah,
hmm.
yeah, yeah. Mm, yeah.
All right, Brian, Jenny, what do y'all think? I mean, lots to being put out here, and a lot to. This is why I love this community, is that we can sit back here and pontificate on these scenarios that we're seeing right there, but the average person would look at us like we're bat crap crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well,
oh,
Hadn't
you're one
used
of
them yet,
those.
but now I think everybody's going, what the blank is going on here? Because I think nobody knows what's going on here. It's just,
Like,
it's transitioning in age, I think, is a big deal.
But I swear
Yeah.
I had the feeling of the omen that I was looking at Damien, and I don't mean that in an insultive way. I'm
Hmm.
just saying that it had that kind of feel to it, because what heir goes up to the family enemies and looks them in the eye and shakes their hand as they're going out the door? Again, if I was writing this script, you couldn't do it any more perfect than what we saw right before our eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
well,
Oh,
it,
yeah.
he could have been thinking in their hands saying, thank you for the policies that you made, which helped us get into office. And it was all their policies that they made that which helped Trump get elected because people were tired of their policies. And
He
what I
is on
like,
the record saying on July 13th, he said they tried to kill my dad.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm just saying he's a smart dude, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, and he had already endured his mother being humiliated by
Right.
the actions of the FBI agents that were there, which was despicable. Every one of them should be fired.
Yeah.
So I'd like to take the positive side that was that he was just so graceful, but I don't know. I think he took it really personal, but that's just another side that who knows. But yeah, maybe
Well,
it
I think
was.
they've always had a set of standards and rules they kind of played by, but we've been watching even that breakdown within that own structured group. We saw it when Hillary was taking stuff from the White House and stuff. So we saw weird things that never happened before they started happening. So I've been watching that a little bit too. That's caught my awareness on a few things. I was like, you know what? No other president would have ever done that before, but they did. So I started seeing that happen too. So things have definitely fallen apart.
Oh, I think that, and Jenny, in your part of the woods, I mean the the royal family in
Yeah.
complete transition. I mean, Charles is apparently going to be advocating his position. It looks like William is taking the reins. I mean, this is a shift from the old guard to obviously the new guard because they're bringing in youth.
And think
Yeah, it's a
about it, these
terrible shift.
changes haven't happened for so long, and it's
Very
all
long,
happening.
very
It's
long.
all
Yeah,
happening.
it's a terrible shift. That guy is worse than his father and
Mm.
grandmother combined. Um, Terrible human, if that's the right term, and very much set to take more from the people in every which way, with a smile and with a very graceful handshake, saying this is going to save the planet, this is going to save the animals. There'll be very promising things that he stands up and speaks about being important to him. But any green agenda he brings in will bring more pollution and more profit for him. So he's actually one of the biggest
But he's come and kissed the
financial,
ring of Trump.
yeah, he's one of the biggest
See,
financial drains on the UK. The scavengers, the scavengers that somehow we've allowed them to dress in other countries' gold that they've used us to go and get. And I think they're just what I think you're seeing with Trump for me anyway is the same old alchemy, the same old magic, but done very skillfully. And they've got the CEOs behind them that are literally ahead of the game of using AI in this type of
you
magic.
had, and that's my point. Yeah.
Across, so I don't feel joyful about it. I've got to be honest. I feel a lot of anticipation and here we go kind of thing because we've been watching alchemy wise and in the background this buyout of an old system into a new. And
Yep.
just like they're ready for anything, big business it's always got its alchemists, its psychics, its intuitives to look at the planets and say, this will be a great time for this kind of takeover. This will be a great time for this type of sale because it works. They're pulling in all of the elements. And I think we're seeing that on a grand scale. Um, and I hope people see that within that cycle, within this very same timeline that you're seeing being televised so much, that people take the incentive in their own lives to say, actually, all rules are made to be broken right now. All of the old rules, we're seeing it from above. Let it be so below too, where people actually take that same level of arrogance, but in a way of self-empowerment that we're seeing on
You
the
know
world
what?
stage
As
and
you
break
say
free
that, Jenny, I
of
keep hearing you're spot on. The greatest revolt created the greatest independence, which is America. And that was because they went against the rules. I think you're
Yes.
spot on with that. This is, if the whole world could get into that energy, the whole world unite for the love of humanity, it would be a different world pretty fast.
Yeah. And we can't
Well,
claim to see anybody like that, I don't think. That's unanimous like that could sit at this panel and speak like this and have hearts as open as this, that no matter what background anyone comes from. I'm not seeing anybody like that yet in these powerful structures that are changing. I'm seeing more of the same type of energy, just with different modalities. So yeah, but it's a powerful time, and I hope people do take the inspiration from Melania. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and Trump, not in a way of fanaticism, but in a way of they are actually revealing to us that all of these rules were only rules because people abided by them. Now that there's a new cycle coming in, even the powers that be are showing us that, those rules we told you to follow, we are breaking them. They don't make sense anymore in this new system. So I
Not
hope
just
people
that,
see that in their own lives.
Trump was writing all these executive orders, and a lot of them were to reverse what Biden had written. So it's just showing you, oh, one day it's real, and then the next day it's not by the magic of my pen.
That's what I hope people really take a hold of and concentrate on and build on, when they're looking at this really powerful stage show of, like you say, Wayne, stuff that it's always been there, like Trina says, especially in this country, but hasn't been so stage showed. But of course, is being backed by the leaders of advertising, the leaders of tech, the leaders of this new divining method of getting to people's consciousness really well with AI. So they've got like this it's powerful. That's the word I can keep coming back to for it. It's powerful.
Yesterday was not just an inauguration, it was a ritual. And that which took place, and I know this for a fact, the average person has no idea what we're talking about. And if they were to hear it, they would simply fluff it off as nonsense. But that's why there's so few occultists out there, and by the percentage. And mine is just through my occultic eyes. But I was deeply involved in ritualistic religion, which is really ritualistic magic.
Yeah.
I actually invoked these spells. We call them prayers. You can call them whatever you like. I spoke the light language of the angels and still can. So when I saw this yesterday, it was one way, it was joyous because we've come out of this dark winter that group was involved with, but that was a form of magic as well. It was just a very polar opposite type. But yesterday, I keep saying this ritual, this coronation that took place. There were the world leaders of and the leaders of industry, leaders of technology. I think they were there to pay homage. And that's a different thing. And on the surface, you could say, well, they were invited to inauguration and this is something that they do. No, it's not what they do. Tim Cook was there. You had Mark Zuckerberg. You had these Bezos. Never have they ever done this. And I'm just saying to the audience and to the group here, no, this is deeper than that. This is so much deeper. There was something that happened yesterday, and it was to fulfill a contract. Because
creation of the new matrix, the new metaverse, here it comes.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, give me your feedback on this. I mean, you had the tech titans there. I mean, you had every one of them there.
Every one of them.
this is not normal.
It's the transition. It's the
I mean,
direction they want you to go. Yeah. This is what they're
it's,
banking on. They're banking on
Mhm.
that.
You see,
Yep.
but
they're already in a space of knowing that actually they've done a lot of the foundational work already to be able to control masses without needing to even
Let
pay
them
or
know.
have people in
Yeah.
government earning
Yeah.
a lot of money every day doing nothing, because for people like you said before, Wayne, who are just going along, they're just meeting the matrix as it meets them, and just observing what they're told to observe. Well, they're entering into a new cycle that they're not prepared for, with true Black Mirror magic just on the end of any screen that they're watching. That's a new aspect to this taken into the new cycle, that it's like television was, radio was, and television was, but on steroids, in that that's why they were there, because they are the new bosses, really, in that
or
no
they
matter
were
who.
giving homage to the new god, the new demigod.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And admitting
Folks, I'm
there
trying to
that,
paint you a picture here. This is something that it,
and like you were saying, it was like a funeral. That's what I was saying, that
for
they're
one
paying
side, it
homage.
was
Yeah,
absolutely. They were the sacrificial lamb, so to speak.
they were like, we finally acknowledge our defeat, and now we
Yeah.
know where the new power is going, and it's all surrounded by technological leaders.
If we
So
were
this
in
is
Rome, they would
what
have
we're
been
looking at.
marched around naked.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
if
Eleanor
we were in
Close.
Rome, but they had to sit there. This is what, and again, it's just my mind. I get it, but I'm looking at this thing because I've been in elite political circles. They had to sit there and take this. Spiritually speaking, that's a big freaking deal. These are
Mhm.
trying to
powerful
get
people
compensated a lot
themselves.
though. Yeah,
This thing, a guy, I'm thinking of you, dear, on this one. It was that Netflix series Chaos, that Zeus and the gods were still around.
I
yeah,
think they are.
So did we see a new demigod? Is this the representation of Hermes, Mercury? I mean, Trump
Apollo.
also declared, get
Apollo.
this, Apollo, thank you. He also made the proclamation and declaration that we're going to Mars.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
mean, uh, maybe it's just Steiger, but I'm
There's
telling
also the
you,
other god too with the swan. He's doing a lot of symbology with the swan. Oh God, what when was which one?
are we
It might
seeing
be.
the resurrection of an old god, an old demigod? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
if
could be.
he's successful in any of this, he'll go down in history. This is what a god, a demigod would want.
That's how they become immortal.
the
That
demigods
bingo,
may.
thank you. That's what a demigod is.
Correct.
One
And
that's
you're
making the transition from mortality to immortality.
and that's it's done through your humans. Yes, I do believe that's done through humans. Yes.
Mm-mm-mm.
Because there's been
That-
many demigod type energies that write-ins have been burnt by all types of soldiers. Countries the world around have ordered ancient write-ins, like where would see demigods going down in history or paintings. If they couldn't take them and put them into their own vault to hide that country's history, then they would burn them. So we've had priceless pieces of diaries, of magic spells burnt even in World War II, so that it wasn't, they try and take the history of the country that they want to take over. That's a big ritualistic thing to do. And so it's the people that can preserve that. And so there's a lot of preservation to what Trump's saying, because it's been recorded, repeated, recorded, repeated. So this time he may as well have been written in a million books, where we've seen lots of demigod type energies be written about in this book and that book, and we know them well. They're historical to us. They're in our lives still because we read about them, think about them. But in this cycle, we've got people being promoted as demigods second by second all the time in so many different sources. So it's like having a gazillion books open at the same time, making this proclamation. I am here because I've been saved by a divine being, or,
Who's
you know,
doing that?
all the
Who's saying that?
you know, I'm just saying that he's got such a power behind him that when he makes any of these very powerful proclamations, like I was saved by a divine essence or a
Yeah.
divine timing, or be I can't remember what he, but you know what I mean, then that's been repeated and repeated and repeated. So it's already, we're seeing a demigod in a historical sense, but being birthed instantly, you know, over milliseconds, because it's being shared over so many sources. Whereas in the past, we would have to go out and seek the story and seek the proclamation. We're hearing it so often. So I think it really is. I can't emphasize the powerful magic behind that, being able to repeat a proclamation in magic as many times as you can is so it's part of manifestation, isn't it? If you can repeat a thought or a term or a word as many times as you can, you're building it into the future manifestation. And with the technology we've got right now, and he's really good at using it. He's really good at marketing, which again is magic. He's really great at utilizing what he's got to hand. And I do think the people sitting around him yesterday recognize that. They recognize that he's got something in him, that when he makes these proclamations, people listen, people record it, and he doesn't even have to ask them to share it. They share it willingly, you know, because they feel it from him. So I think they've they've chosen very well. He's chosen very well. Their energies have chosen very well. He's very much representative of Mars energy in his own right, you know, and he's saying we're going to go to Mars. I think I see Mars when he speaks, even though he's a Gemini. I see very Mars type energy, you know, that very male, masculine, um, authoritative energy without being shouty. And we're in such a dance with Mars and Venus right now. So it does feel like you're watching the planets converge in front of us in these characters that we're seeing second by second, and it feels shifting. I don't think we're out of the shift from yesterday. I think there's meetings and deals that again break all of the old rules, all of the old rules of finance, all of the old rules. I think we're going to be on a, but I don't think it's going to be loud. I don't think, for all Trump can get his voice across, I don't think he's been speaking as much as usual in the lead up to this. I think he's been very reserved. And even that's very powerful for somebody who's usually very vocal to suddenly be gracious and just let the others speak.
And
I
then I
can't really.
cannot help but not remember the prophecy, and it said, "There shall be one who will escape a mortal wound, who shall then rise, in which all the world shall pay homage."
That was the
Yeah.
real prophecy. And that's a real prophecy, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Out
I
of the
guess
That's
it
what I
Bible.
was
depends on
trying
your
to
point of
say
view,
from.
but if you ask me, I think we just have a candidate that seems to be going down that exact path.
Yeah.
It's the
Could be
character.
just
It will
me.
be
I don't
shown.
know. I'm just telling you something happened yesterday that it far exceeds the mere mortal's perception. It was deep, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
We weren't there. Did you notice that? The UK weren't invited.
I noticed
Did
that
you know
y'all were.
that that was all over the news because everybody was really taking the mick out of our prime minister because of course they've snubbed that end a lot apparently. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know that they had, but they've snubbed over the years our end that's leading us right now of really stupid snubs, because even if you don't like the person or like the party, if you're in that kind of business, then again, keep your mouth shut, because you don't
I
know who's going
wonder
to
if
be.
William, when he met with Trump in France, if something wasn't, conversed and, it was like, listen, I mean,
Harry, yes.
I'm just speculating. I don't know, but it just seems because that was, from a political perspective, you'd have to wait. Oh, excuse me, but wait a minute. You were represented. You had Farge over here.
Yes, that's what I mean,
That's
though.
what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's a big deal. I mean that, and I'm telling you, I can't help but think that your elections that are about to take place there, Jenny, that you won't see him take forth. I think he's got more. The Labor Party, is that right?
is it's I think it's the quickest growing party, but it's
Yeah,
made up of an party that is, as again,
kind of like Trump.
it's relabeled itself, it's given itself a new name,
See,
it's modernized the way that it's sharing its information. So instead of them relying on parliamentary meetings that nobody watches, they've been doing what Trump's campaign's been doing. They've been taking to TikTok, they've been taking to YouTube, they've been taking it to the modern stage rather than trying to keep it. Whereas our prime minister that we've got currently and the other lot that have just been kicked out not that long ago are completely behind on that.
I
They're
think
still
that could
thinking they
visas.
go to Parliament, and so he's sneaking up behind them, but not in the normal fashion. He's
See,
breaking
this new
all of the
magic.
yeah, all of the political rules are being broken. Um,
Someone wanted
yeah,
to know who were the yellow people having the yellow scarves. Those were the representatives of both the hostages and those that are still being held hostage in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. See
Yeah.
those
And I
ties,
thought
they
it was interesting. One
do.
thing as we wrap this up, and Brian, next time you got to talk a little bit less. Um, Um, I thought was real interesting in how the benedictions were held, and um, it was real interesting the representations of whoever this God is that Trump is saying was, you know, intervene in his life, and I'm going, this is going to get interesting. Is this guy really going to be a unifier in religion? I mean, if that happens on my checklist, I'm going, oh crap. Wait a minute.
No.
Yeah, I'm going, this is
Hmm.
weirder than weird. Anyway, it's just me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm really curious if the some of the other countries will follow his lead, because one of the executive orders that he signed yesterday was getting us out of the World Health Organization.
Hmm.
That was a big
That would
step.
be
Big
Yeah.
step.
Yeah. And pulled us out of the Paris Accord. I
Yeah,
mean,
Oh, did he?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mhm.
And if you invested in electric cars, kind of sucks to be you today, because that just went away. Well, exactly. There we
mhm,
go.
Wow.
Changes everywhere.
yeah.
Changes everywhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
big time.
And I
Yeah.
think they're
Big
for the
time.
better.
and
I'm
there's
going
going
to
to be
take the high road like you, Brian. I'm going to go. I'm hoping that
You
this
know,
is,
I'm so
Hmm.
hoping too, but I do know now. Remember, like I said, I think these things have always been around, but we've never had eyes to see. And now that
it
we
may
can
been.
kind of see what's happening, we can create. We can imagine and see what we want, and it will affect the whole. So, just do every bit of that as you can, because our imagination is creating the world we see. So be careful what you let them make you focus on. You try to control what you manifest and what you see, because they're going to give us
breaking
a
your
lot to see.
rules.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
break
I
your
still see when
rules
I
of
met
your country.
Trump at the Taj Mahal there in Atlantic City and going up the elevator with him and yeah, it was yeah. The same kind of thing happened with George W.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, love you.
Love you.
Yeah.
Grandpa Brian, if you want to come back on again, you're always welcome. Love to
I
have you on. And,
appreciate that.
just again, if you just could tone down the talk a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt bad. It's like, geez, we don't typically do that. So, um, someone says Green Country Agroforestry says the Who introduced Won't Get Fooled Again on my. Yeah, I remember getting really
I kept
stoned
hearing
on
that
acid hearing
song.
that song.
I kept hearing that all day today. And that
We
was
won't
one of
get
the very,
fooled again.
and that was one of the very last videos that Brian did.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
kept,
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Wow. It's interesting times, folks. That's all I got to say. Just very interesting times. Thanks everyone in the chat room, everyone that's listening. We appreciate it. Just a wide plethora of points of view. But
Yeah.
just to say this, and I think the panel would all agree, something significant happened. And no one knows how it's going to be. Is it going to be positive? Is it going to be negative? Or is it going to be a bit of both? I don't know. Hard to
We'll
say.
create it.
We're going to live it.
Yeah.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Brian, thank you, my friend. I know you're
Thank
on with
you.
the ladies on
Friday night.
Friday night. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
Andromeda 7.
There you go. Yep. And check them out occasionally myself. So tell all the ladies hello for us.
I
Yeah.
Uh,
sure will.
Jenny, how are you doing with your end?
Yeah, good. I'm still working on Google Merchant Sheets. I'm still not winning that battle, but I'm not giving in. I'm on it. I'm getting steps
Keep
ahead.
strong. You know.
Keep strong. I'm gonna have the best SEO settings ever by the end of the week. Hoping. So
Awesome.
Fight.
that's me
uh,
breaking.
well, give the love to the kids, and we love you as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Love you too.
And Miss Trina, have yourself a fabulous week. You're getting your house protected from, in case there is a EMP, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Oh,
From the
excellent.
sun or otherwise. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. I mean,
That's a brilliant thing. It's a brilliant idea, especially with where we're at right now with the cycles and the
Uh-huh.
potentials for things to go crazy. And we are looking at potentially a full system reset, which would mean our electricity grids too. So, there's a lot that we're looking at here with potentials. I did see too, there is a company and they have definitely invented a small generator for free energy. They've got 75 million already in funding to start getting it rolling. And it does look like that product is going to become available. I don't know when, but sometime in the very near future.
I saw a documentary by Dr. Stephen Greer. The United States possesses zero energy.
I
Has
saw
for a
Uh,
that.
long time.
they have
Yeah.
actually murdered
Yeah.
a half dozen inventors
My
that,
friend has one of those were one of his
yeah,
friends. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, this one guy, I couldn't get over it, had this little box. It required less than a 30th of a watt
Yep.
of electricity, and it put out over 600 watts
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. We're
indefinitely.
learning. Yes.
See, there's restaurants in Mexico and other places that for a long time have been drilling into the tree, like I mentioned a while ago, and putting the electrodes in the tree, and actually, the string lighting that you have outside, like in an
Yep.
eating space, literally lighting up the whole promenade just from the trees, having not damaging the
Well, you
trees,
can do it with
just
a potato, so that would make
Yeah.
sense.
Have
Mm-hmm.
you
yeah.
guys heard the
Yeah,
music? The music that they're capturing from the plants and the
yeah,
mushrooms?
yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty. I heard a dandelion this morning. It was beautiful, the song of the dandelion. Oh, wow. Wow. How
Gorgeous
They're a
plants.
plant kingdom. I mean,
amazing.
they have
That
a soul.
sound, Wayne, was the sound I heard when I went to the higher dimension. That's what everything plays music. That's the
Yeah.
first time I've ever seen that expressed in the third dimensional reality to where
Mushrooms.
what I heard.
Yeah.
You see, and that's
Everything.
and that's my point. If I'm going
Yes.
to become a vegetarian, I just can't hear them scream as I'm munching down on them.
Mhm.
You know, and it's like, yeah, let me have a carrot. No. I mean, we're
Yeah.
sausage party all over again. I'm
Yes.
telling you.
Yes. But that's why we're third dimensional. That's a primal body.
I
Basically.
know. Have you
Yeah,
ever
terrible.
seen the movie Sausage Party?
Yes.
No, it sounds
They think they're going to paradise and they're going in your mouth.
something else, I think. All right. Okay. It's real. Okay.
You can't eat a hot dog in a bun anymore without, seeing that. That's all I got to say.
I thought you were alluding to some
That's
sort of
good.
adult movie because when people say at a party when it's all men there, they'll say, "What's a right sausage party in there?"
Oh, no. That's
I
such
thought
a
you were
douche.
talking
I
about
mean,
those.
all right, we love y'all. Listen, if you don't laugh at least one time a day, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So we just gave you a free laugh. That's a big energy boost. So,
Yeah.
but seriously, I can't eat a hot dog the same anymore.
Oh. Sometimes I wonder how many of us are the hot dog.
Boy, isn't that the truth? I mean, it's the theory that that was the whole thing about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It
Right?
wasn't the humans that were doing the experiment. It was the two white mice.
Yes.
I don't know if
That
you
was
knew that,
isn't
but
it?
that was the theme of the whole thing.
Yep.
It was the mice experimenting on us.
Yes. Yes.
We love everybody. Thank you. We'll see you next week. I'll be on tomorrow. At least that's what I'm planning. All right, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. This is my mum's puppy. This is Dolly Porton. So she's only 7 months old, and
Look
she's
at
bigger
that.
than me. So
She's
she's
so
a
cute.
Bonus footage, everybody. Bonus
Yeah.
footage.
I always
yeah.
You
love
know,
the puppy.
She's
Maxwell.
been in the garden, but she's saying hi to everybody. She's Dolly Porton. So there we
Dolly, we
go.
love you.
Dolly
All
Parton.
right. All right. Bye.